In a small village hidden between quiet mountains, lived a young man with dreamy eyes but lazy feet. He woke up late, let the day slip through his fingers like sand, and treated the clock like an enemy. His father, a simple man full of wisdom, watched in silence, but not without concern. It wasn't the laziness that frightened him, it was the waste of precious moments that would never return. The value of time was something the boy still didn't understand. His routine was filled with procrastination, aimless laughter, and empty promises. Friends came and went, hours too, and he didn't even notice how much he was losing with each new sunrise. His father tried talking, but the words hit a wall of youthful indifference. What the boy lacked wasn't intelligence, it was discipline and a serious change of mindset. And let's be real, how many young people today live exactly like that, thinking they've got all the time in the world? The father, a man of few words but sharp vision, knew he couldn't force his son to change, but he could show him. He carried the responsibility of a craftsman, like a watchmaker trying to fix a broken gear before it's too late. Every night, he'd gaze up at the stars, hoping his son would experience an awakening. And that moment was closer than he imagined. One day, the father handed his son a few coins and gave him what seemed like a simple task: go into town and buy a watch. The boy looked confused, smirked at the request. But to avoid an argument, he went. The father didn't say much, only gave him a firm look, one that said more than words ever could. Behind that task was a life lesson just waiting to unfold. On his way, the boy got distracted. He stopped to chat, wasted time on meaningless things, and only remembered the errand much later. He walked into the first shop he saw, grabbed a random watch, and paid without asking questions. He didn't check the model, or the value, he just wanted to get it over with. The opportunity for reflection passed right by, at least, for now. When your mind is closed, even time stays silent. The father didn't expect an expensive or pretty watch. What he hoped for was awareness, purpose, maybe even a question, but none came. The son returned as if he'd just ticked off an item from a shopping list, unaware of the deeper meaning behind the task. Truth is, many of us live the same way, running on autopilot, never questioning how we use our time. But life, like a fine watch, demands precision. And what happened next would change everything. While walking down a narrow alley in town, the young man spotted a small, dusty shop with a faded sign, "Watch Repairs, since 1912. Curious, he stepped inside. Behind the counter stood an old watchmaker, whose deep eyes seemed to already know the boy's story. The boy awkwardly pointed to a watch and asked, "How much does this one cost?" The response came slow, filled with wisdom and silence. The watchmaker looked him in the eyes and said, "Depends, do you want the price of something that measures time, or the value of the time you waste every day?" The words hit like a bell inside the boy's chest. For the first time, it felt like someone was seeing beyond the surface. It wasn't just a question, it was a mirror. And in that instant, something inside him began to shift. Confused, the boy laughed nervously, tried to joke, to change the subject, but the clock on the wall ticked on, as if marking a transformation in motion. The old man continued, "Son, time is the only asset you can't buy back." Those words echoed like a warning, a call to reflection. And as he watched the hands of the clock move slowly, he began to wonder, had he been merely existing all along? The old watchmaker, calm and deliberate, invited the boy to sit. "Let me tell you something," he said, carefully polishing a vintage pocket watch. "There once was a man who spent his whole life collecting gold, houses, land. But when his daughter fell ill, he would have traded it all for one more hour with her. And guess what? Time can't be bought. It's the only currency that spends itself, even when you're not paying attention." The boy sat in silence, listening like someone hearing a forbidden truth. The old man continued, "I've seen fathers trade precious moments for meetings, and sons waste their youth on pointless distractions. The time we waste badly doesn't come back with apologies. This wasn't just a motivational story, it was a reflection of daily choices. And every word the old man spoke carried a life lesson hidden in simplicity. Watches are just physical reminders of something we can't hold, he added, pointing to the boy's wrist. The problem isn't having time, it's knowing what to do with it. And in that forgotten little shop, a change of mindset began. It was like the boy's inner clock had started ticking differently. And the most surprising part? That was only the beginning of his transformation. On his way back home, the boy was no longer the same. Every step echoed the watchmaker's words, as if time itself had begun to speak, and he was finally listening. For the first time, he realized wasting time wasn't just about doing nothing, it was about living without direction, without purpose, without responsibility. That motivational story wasn't just a conversation, it was a push from life itself. And now, he felt the need to act. Arriving home, he looked at his father and simply said, "That watch, it's worth more than I thought." The father smiled, unsurprised, he knew. The son began changing his habits, waking up earlier, organizing his day, seeking meaning in daily tasks. He read books like The Power of Now and Essentialism, and began tracking weekly goals, small, but consistent. He had learned that the use of time is a daily choice. More than a new routine, a new vision was born. He understood that youth and discipline aren't enemies, they're partners in growth. And by taking charge of his minutes, he also took charge of his life. Being young wasn't an excuse for delay, but an opportunity for preparation. And no awakening holds value without determination. And as for his father, he still had one more lesson to share. A few days later, sitting together on the porch, the father said, "You didn't just bring home a watch, you brought home wisdom." The young man smiled, looking at the sky, which now felt like more than just scenery. It was a reminder that time doesn't wait. "Every minute has an invisible cost," the father added, "and we pay it with growth, or with regret." Now those words made perfect sense. The watch didn't just tell time, it marked a transformation. Time isn't kind to those who ignore it, but it's generous to those who understand it. And that once distracted boy now aimed to live with purpose. He began valuing conversations with his father, helping neighbors, investing his time in learning, and even teaching others what he nearly failed to grasp himself. Life is made of choices, and the greatest gift you can give someone is your presence. And that, my friend, is priceless. The father knew he wouldn't live forever, but he left behind something greater than inheritance, a father and son story built on meaning. And the boy, now a man, wore the watch on his wrist, but in his heart, he carried a new understanding: time is the strictest teacher. You can waste money and earn it back, but wasted time only teaches through reflection, and never repeats the lesson. And maybe, just maybe, there's still time for you to learn it too. So tell me, what will you do with the time you still have? Will you keep spending hours on things that don't build you, or start acting with purpose? Most people live as if they have guarantees, but they don't. And when they realize it, the clock has already turned against them. This story isn't just about a boy and a watchmaker, it's about me, you, and every choice we make between now and someday. What hours are you wasting the most each day? Have you considered that maybe you're giving up your precious moments with loved ones? The good news is, a change of mindset can begin today, if you want it to. Start small, read Steal like an artist, use a simple planner, put your phone down for 1 hour a day, and take control of your focus. Don't wait another year to realize what you could change now. And if this story made you think, I invite you to keep growing with us. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, and stay on this journey. Because here, we're not just trying to entertain, we're here to transform you. In the end, the only thing separating those who achieve from those who only dream, is what they do with the 24 hours they're given every day.